to pay for those.
I have a dream that one day these will be free of charge. Today is that day.
Wait.
Hey, what's up, y'all? My name is Millennial Smark, and I'm bringing you the slop, the whole slop, and nothing but the slop. Timestamps are located in the description box below. They're also located in the pinned comment section below as well. Just a reminder, I will not be reviewing tomorrow's show, Crown Jewel, because I have to go to work. I know, it sucks. You can masturbate to the sound of my voice here, though, so, that's fine. But let's go over today's topics, because these are some doozies. Apparently, Kylie Rae is being abused by WWE. All the narratives. We finally have some type of retort and recourse in regards to the final number between NXT and AEW. Everybody's losing their shits on one side, and everybody's celebrating for some reason on the other side. Apparently, we have the supposed Wargames team that are being mapped out that everybody is questioning. They're like, how the hell does any of this make sense? We'll get into that in a little bit. And also, unfortunate news in regards to Roger Jackson and Syko Stu. The drama continues. But with that being said, let's get directly into today's main topic, the Kylie Rae abuse. Oh, the abuse. So Kylie Rae took to her Twitter and she made a bit of an announcement to all of her fans, her legions, her 100,000s upon thousands, hundreds, millions of fans. She said, and I quote, "Today, I share that my time with WWE ID is coming to an end. As I was informed, my contract will not be renewed. I'm incredibly grateful for the opportunities, memories, and people I met along the way. Thank you to everyone who supported me during this chapter. It truly means the world. As for the next chapter, I'm so ready to meet you." Once I pop this baby out, of course. And everybody lost their shit. When I say everybody lost their shit, everybody lost their shit. Can I read you a couple of these people? They're really stretching this narrative. Now you heard what I read, right? You can look on the screen for yourself and see what I read, right? This is what the people were saying. "They shit-canned a pregnant woman. Not sure I understand the instinct to immediately defend a billion-dollar private equity firm. WWE ID is just an attempt to monopolize wrestling." He spelled monopolize wrong, but regardless, thankfully, it's a huge flop. Well, I mean, never mind the fact that people have working jobs and able to apply their trade in some way, but sure, it's a huge flop, right? Totally. I hate fucking WWE and their monopolization of professional wrestling. Also, professional wrestlers should lose their job. Also, I hate the fact that they fired this person, even though they actually weren't fired, but we'll get into that in a little bit, right? Even though you read the initial quote. Next comment. "Ah, yes. Classic WWE that has a record of handling their contract situations pretty well. Yeah, let's defend them. Too much analysis for a simple situation. She was not renewed because she was pregnant and could not perform. Period." The sad part about it is, yeah, that's actually what happened. Straight up. So why are you mad? Virtue signaling points. Virtue signaling. Check this out. This other person said, "You shameless dorks are the worst. You defend a soulless, gutless corporation and make excuses for them when it isn't even warranted. If they had any decency about them, they'd pay her while she was pregnant. Not like an ID contract is big money." Right. Simple. That's an awesome take, right? Hey, I wish the world worked that way. I wish the world was full of dandelions and flowers and rainbows and unicorns farting out fucking Skittles and all that shit, bro. But unfortunately, we live in reality. This person said, this is the last one, "While on maternity leave? Is that legal?" Which immediately this person, who has the IQ above a fucking shoelace, ended up actually confronting this person and his comment by, stating the fucking obvious. He said, "She didn't get fired. Her contract ran out. They, meaning the company and her, can do what they want with contracts once they are up. I hope once she has the baby and a few months later, if she chooses to wrestle again, they may revisit her contract and sign her again." Now, granted, his grammar is absolutely fucking horrible and he spells like a dyslexic patient, but, hey, what does that say about the people who don't have a basic grasp and understanding of this entire situation when an actual illiterate daycare dropout can actually correct you in real time? But this is my favorite comment, because all those comments that I read to you guys, for the most part, outside of that last one, was actually directing their ire as if this person worked with the fucking company, as if this person is a spokesperson for WWE. No, he legitimately just kind of spoke common sense, right? They were all aiming at this comment right here. I feel like people don't fully understand what the WWE ID contracts involve. Kylie wasn't fired from anything. They opted to not renew her contract at this time. This is probably partly due to her pregnancy. They can't really offer her any of the contractual benefits during this period, so for them, the decision was to cut ties. It's probably not in the long term. I'd see Kylie, or IDC, I'm not sure what he's referring to. I think he means I'd, but we'll go along with it. I'd see Kylie probably getting another opportunity down the line once the baby is born. Oh, so he did mean I'd. Right now, the focus is on the baby being on the way and all the stuff that comes after. She can then get back in the ring and find her footing, and you never know what the future holds. It's a sad and not ideal business decision, but it's one they came to nonetheless. Kylie is a great talent, and I'm sure that they are still very well aware of that and will be keeping an eye out. You know, what I don't understand about all this, and I know the people are going to be in the comment section, no, Devontae, you keep shilling for WWE. No. When it comes to the business side of this, I've took the side of Tony Khan also for practical reasons. I don't like Tony Khan. I don't like AEW, all from a wrestling basis, obviously. But I took their side also when Kevin Kelly came after there with that bullshit lawsuit, right? And the Tate twins. I was defending AEW and the business side of things because it's just basic common sense. You know what I hate the most, though? How people can constantly look at someone, and yes, this is somewhat of a knock on Kylie Rae, but it's a broader picture that I'm explaining here for a moment, right? You have Kylie Rae, who has dipped on every fucking commitment that is humanly possible in so many fucking companies, right? And they automatically come to her defense, right? Depression this, mental anxiety that, yada yada this, yada yada that. She has completely, unadulteratedly opted, not even opted out, I can't even say that. She ghosted, essentially. She ghosted TNA, right? I know the situation that happened with her and Jericho, which has still not been proven out yet, or to the degree as how everybody is painting it out right now at the moment. She essentially left AEW, for the most part, on their ass, right? How many times does a person like this get opportunity after opportunity after opportunity, and they themselves get to dismiss whatever, point in time as far as where they're at that moment? When do they get to constantly go out of their way and say, no, I don't want to do this, no, I don't want to do this, no, I don't want to do this, and fuck over one company after the other because of how they personally feel or their personal situation, which is fine, right? Hey, you feel like you have to take a mental break or whatever? Sure, go ahead and do that. Never mind the fact that you have obligations that you're going to not fulfill. But the one time a company actually does to her what she's been doing to companies for years, automatically we're supposed to just take the side of the fucking person who actively has been doing the legitimate same thing that the companies have been doing to her. At least they let her contracts, run out. They didn't fire her. They didn't release her. They have no obligation. She is an independent contractor. I hate this fucking logic. You engaged with the company. You decided to put your name on the dotted line. You knew the cautions as far as what you were taking to engage with the company before signing on the dotted line. So therefore, you take the brunt of what happens after that situation that you guys agreed upon, both parties agreed upon. You take the brunt of that because they are the companies that are taking the risk. They have to stay put. You get to ply your trade everywhere else. So why the fuck do we constantly make victims out of these people? Now look, I understand. It sucks. You are in a position where you're pregnant. It would be nice to get paid, but that's not how the real world fucking works. Not all jobs are obligated to do something like this, especially ones who are in the position to make you an independent contractor. That's just the way that it is. Some jobs who actually do have healthcare benefits and all this other kind of stuff, they are obligated to do stuff like that, right? By law. WWE are not. We all understand this. And for people to constantly virtue signal over this issue and pretend as if like, whoa, Devontae, well, WWE should do better by their employees. They're not employees. That's one thing. Well, they should make them employees. Okay, then we'll go by what the hell you want to say. Let's say, for an example, we should now have unions in WWE, right? We should now have people who are being paid equally throughout WWE and health benefits and all this other kind of stuff, right? So you're trying to say, theoretically, that Roman Reigns, right, the biggest star in the company, for an example, the guy who was putting out the most as far as, getting people to watch the shows, more or less, right? Him, CM Punk, John Cena, all those guys should, for the most part, get equal benefits and equal pay for the most part, maybe a little bit higher, but there should be a comparison. Fucking woman over here, Jasmine Nix, should make $50,000 and John Cena should make about, I don't know, $100,000 to $200,000, right? Because that's what's gonna happen. You're gonna have to cut some pays down, right? Or better yet, what if we say that they actually go to the further extreme of this whole premise, and we just don't hire anybody, and we just actually keep the people who are the bigger stars? How about we cut down our roster to like 30 to 40 people and give them health benefits and give them all these kinds of things, and we don't let these people come into the company so we don't waste our money on the extra talent to develop them to maybe one day they actually get into the position of a Roman or a John Cena or any of those guys, right? It's like they don't think about the consequences, they just think about the fucking rewards. No, I don't feel bad for Kylie Rae. No, I don't feel bad for anybody who's coping for her or virtue signaling for her. Never mind the fact that it's a complete double standard just because one happens to be rich and the other isn't rich. I mean, don't explain to me your fucking weird jealousy problem with rich people. I mean, just get on their fucking level or work on yourself and worry about yourself. I don't fucking understand. I don't understand the premise as to one party agreeing about doing something with another party, and when the consequences start coming up, then all of a sudden they were done wrong. That makes no sense to me. I have no guilt. I have no shame. I hope she does better, right? I don't feel like she already had another kid previously, right? I think she has another kid if I'm not mistaken. What was she doing the entire time before all that, huh? Trust me, Kylie Rae will be fine. And no, I'm not gonna sit here. I'm not gonna pretend to cry crocodile tears for people who opt into situations that they know the consequences of. I'm just not. Especially when she was never fired. She wasn't. They just decided, hey, you are now a liability, or if not a liability, for an example, let's just say we have no use for you. We can't do anything. You're pregnant, and you're an ID talent. What can you do with that? No, I'm sorry, eat ass. No, there was no abuse. There was no taking advantage of. She knew the consequences. She dealt with the consequences. And guess what? There are consequences. Welcome to the real world, you fucking crybabies. The war rages on between the AEW fanboys and the NXT fanboys, but I like to wage a war against people who hate logic. So, Raj Giri has put out this tweet to give a further explanation on the final numbers that were put out yesterday, okay? The final Big Data Plus panel Nielsen numbers are in, and NXT pretty much destroyed AEW on Tuesday, as we figure will be the case. However, there was good news for both shows regarding the new rating system. In total viewers, NXT averaged 625,000 viewers, 9% up from last week, beating the 321,000 viewers scored by AEW by 95%. In the 18 to 49 demo, NXT scored a 0.12 in the as been saying, I don't know why he said the 18 to 49 twice, beating the 0.07 18 to 49 rating garnered by Dynamite by 71%. The good news for NXT was that they were up from last week in both total viewers and the 18 to 49 demo using the new Nielsen system. Last week also used the new system as well. The good news for Dynamite is that the audience they scored was higher than the old Nielsen system that I posted this morning, meaning the one that we went over yesterday in the yesterday's video, while the 18 to 49 rating was the same. Up until now, the major shows have been showing a big decline with the new system. But one thing that has been shown is that the lower the numbers for wrestling, the better the new system has been. essentially being able to at least correlate the problems with what you're seeing in regards to the lower and higher numbers. You can actually focus on that group a little bit more accordingly and not having to, focus on numbers that for the most part aren't accurate, or at least as accurate as this new panel system, right? So Dave Meltzer, he ended up releasing some of the numbers as well, and as of we expected, as I posted on the community post yesterday, of course he had to say his piece. So let's read what he said, even though I put it on the community post yesterday. He said, and I quote, ratings ended up 625,000, 0.12 for NXT, and 321,000, 0.7 for Dynamite, as we stated already. Last year, same circumstances, 874,000, 0.24, and 329K, 0.10 for their respective shows. AEW doesn't include Max and had the unfamiliar night. More details in the issue. Which obviously is huge cope, and fans accurately destroyed this whole talking point. We'll get to the unfamiliar night thing in a minute, but just to kind of give my 2 cents on the whole Max thing, as I stated already previously, we've already broken this down plenty of times. Max didn't include the numbers because obviously HBO decided against them including the numbers. They themselves opted out of the Nielsen system to include those numbers. I wonder why, Dave. Could it be because the numbers aren't any higher than predicted and it makes them look bad? You can't keep constantly saying they're not including the Max numbers when, from the looks of it, the Max numbers were never even spoken about to be included to begin with. It's like an easy cop-out, bro. It's so lame. But he did end up saying this as well a little bit further on after someone made this tweet. He said AEW was down 300,000 in 18 of 49. I'd say easily did more than that on Max. Well, shit, that would be nice if Max would just give us the number, but they won't. They opted out of it. Like, all they have to do is just show the number. It's like that whole... I know you guys have been keeping up with the Hassan Piker situation, the loser fucking communist dude who electrocuted his dog or some shit, and everybody was like, dude, show the fucking collar. Just show the fucking collar. You can actually get everybody to say, hey, oh, we were wrong. Show the fucking collar. You a dog abuser. You are a dog abuser. Stop electrocuting your dogs, Hassan Diddy Piker. Stop it. Stop it, Shink's nephew. Dave, they just have to show the numbers. Show the fucking numbers, but they won't show the numbers because the numbers aren't any higher than 30,000. Now, I'm making the claim based off of my opinion. They can dispute my opinion and everybody else's opinion by showing the number. You know what you're doing, dude. You know what you're doing, Dave. No one's gonna fall for your treacherous nonsense. But just to see some of his fanboys coping, one guy said, add the Max numbers and it's still good for AEW. Well, we don't know that because Max won't show the fucking numbers. Especially as it wasn't their usual night and WWE made NXT a special invasion episode. But having watched both, AEW Dynamite was the much better and more fun show to watch. Well, here's the thing. Your opinion means jack shit in the end of the day when you have people who actively chose to watch NXT over AEW. Also, what kind of lame ass excuse? Let me get this straight. So your excuse as to why NXT was better than AEW in the grand consensus of everybody's opinion was because they decided to make the show better? Wait, is that your excuse? NXT had a special invasion episode. Right. So you're saying they decided to make their show much see. Oh, guys, come over here and watch our show. And that's why they defeated NXT. The logic, bro. They don't hear the they just actively they just zone out the shit that they hear and the shit that they say. Another loser said, does anyone have access to the Max streaming numbers? I know. I wish I had fucking access to it. I mean, as legitimate as possible viewing information. Do they track views similar to Netflix with Raw? Tony Khan has mentioned them in a positive way, but nothing concrete. Because Max refuses to show their numbers. Max refuses to go into business with Nielsen and actually show their numbers. It's almost as if they have a reason to why they won't show their numbers. I know, crazy, right? So one fan decided to jump in and just kill this entire narrative. Just kill it. Off rip. It's not that hard. He said, and I quote, "Last year, NXT was on the unfamiliar night. Same thing. Same fan base. Again, logic. And just to further add scrutiny to these people's terrible fucking points, Raj Giri ended up jumping into this. You know, the guy who's been going over the numbers for the most, that you guys hate so much, the guy that you guys keep saying, can you please stop revealing the number, Mr. Raji? We don't like it when you expose our favorite wrestling company. He said, what happened the last time when NXT and Dynamite went head to head when NXT was on an unfamiliar night? Oh yeah, NXT still beat it 619K to 523K. I know, it's as if AEW has the inferior fucking product with the wrestling fan base. You have a developmental company going head up with a company's flagship show. That should be the end all be all. Decisive victory, KO, knockout to the fucking face. Yet these people, all the fucking nonsense they keep bringing up, oh, it was in a different night. Well, that wasn't the case last year when NXT fucking defeated him. Oh, it's because NXT happens to be on broadcast and they're not on cable like AEW. They're getting lower numbers right now than they were doing consistently on USA. Either lower or the same kind of viewership number. You're acting like they're getting 900,000 viewers on a consistent basis or some shit. No, they're actively getting lower numbers compared to what they were getting on USA in some cases, and in most cases, it's the same fucking viewership number. Oh, they don't include the Max numbers. Max opted out. They opted out. Max said no, they don't want to be it. And this new Shin rating, they said no, don't put this in there. Don't put the... You people are bad faith. Your bad faith is shit. All of you people are absolutely fucking bad faith. But Raj Giri, being good faith about this whole entire situation, also mentioned this, and I quote, while I mentioned the positives, one obvious negative for Dynamite on Tuesday is that the audience in the 18 to 49 rating were the lowest in its history, which includes all the shows that were preempted. He's talking about the big panel numbers, obviously, for people who are like, well, didn't he earlier just say that they were higher? I think he meant higher when looking at the actual, the original panel system. This is him indicating that it's lower when actually looking at the overall consensus in regards to the new panel system. But essentially what we're trying to say is, right, AEW fanboys need to calm the fuck down. Really, they need to calm the fuck down. Right? You can make as many excuses as you want. Everybody wants AEW to succeed. You know what's holding them back? The dumb, dick, pretentious decisions that they make in AEW, that's almost always tied up in some kind of political manner, right? Right? You know they focus on the wrestling and do the consistent wrestling nonsense, and they never break away from this because they don't want to go out of the box to focus on more stories, right? And they don't want to focus on more stories because they themselves don't want to put themselves to a position where they actually have to do stories, but they know they have to actively avoid some stories that actually affect real life and pop culture because everything is tied somehow, some way to something political. Not to mention all your wrestlers who happen to stem off of that same type of viewing point. That's the reason why you guys won't do it. And you have no one to blame but yourselves. So fucking suck it.
I can just go to this. Maybe.
Yeah. Oh, my head.
Oh god, oh god. Oh, shit.
We finally have news on who's gonna be in the upcoming War Games for the men and the women. Unfortunately, they were announced by the Wrestling Observer newsletter. So, people are looking at these names and they cannot believe it. For the men's, according to Cultaholic, who sourced the Wrestling Observer newsletter, they said the men are looking more like CM Punk, Roman Reigns, Jacob Fatu, either Jimmy Uso or LA Knights, versus Seth Rollins, Braun Breaker, Bronson Reed, Brock Lesnar, and Austin Theory. I don't know where he's pulling these names from. Is it a possibility? I guess maybe. I don't know where the fuck he got Austin Theory from. Maybe Maybe. I don't know. Maybe this is a situation where they're trying to retcon the whole situation with Austin Theory being an absolute fucking loser. And Austin Theory and Seth Rollins do have history. Maybe that's what he's referring to. Like, maybe Rollins can get Austin Theory back on track. Again, these names sound random as fuck. But he also talked about the women's. Here, check it out. This is through Wrestle Talk, who sorts the same Wrestling Observer newsletter article. They said AJ Lee is reportedly listed for the women's War Games match at the WWE Survivor Series, as well as NXT's Lash Legend. Apparently, the teams on that side are AJ Lee, Rhea Ripley, Charlotte Flair, Alexa Bliss, and Io Sky. And on the opposing team, it's Becky Lynch, Asuka, Kairi Sane, Nia Jax, and Lash Legend. Again, it seems rather random. I mean, I guess the implication is Nia Jax and Lash Legend are going to be a team of some sorts, right? Because what, Charlotte and Alexa, someone can correct me, right? I haven't really been keeping up all too well. They're the tag team champions, right? Now, I know Asuka and Kairi, they have problems with Io and Rhea at the moment. AJ obviously has problems with Becky Lynch. Charlotte and Alexa have problems with Nia and Lash. Again, that's the only logical conclusion I can come out of all of this. Now, again, there are a lot of people who are picking apart the Wrestling Observer newsletter because these names seem random as fuck. They don't necessarily seem random. Let me put it to you this way. They don't. Like, if you correlate the names with each other, it seems like some people are feuding with other people, but it just seems so, like, weird. Now, hey, we got a whole month, right, before Survivor Series War Games actually happens. Maybe they can somehow get Lash Legend involved on the main roster to do something with Nia Jax. Again, it seems like they're going to probably, have her feud with Charlotte and Alexa, and that's going to be her tag team partner. That's the only conclusion I can get out of this. And again, maybe there's going to be a storyline with maybe Austin Theory turning heel, if he's not already heel. I'm not even sure, because he did turn, or I thought him and Grayson Waller finally broke up after 100 fucking years. So again, maybe I'm the last person to talk about this because I haven't really been keeping up with the product as consistently, especially with the undercard. So maybe you guys could talk about it amongst each other to see whether or not this has any validity. Again, there are a lot of fans down in the comment sections on some of these posts who are tearing this shit apart. But hey, you guys can talk about it. I talk about it amongst each other. It just sounds really random to me though. But I don't know. That's just my noodle brain opinion, right?
Oh, you good? Have you been in touch with Stu? How is he doing?
So I try not to hit him up as much because the incident with me there, I'm directly tied into it. So from what I talked to his friends and I've talked to his wife. If I were to talk to him, it would, in my opinion, it would directly link that trauma to our conversation, and it might take away from his healing. So I've just kind of stayed off in the distance, but there is going to be an event for Stu with Valor Pro Wrestling around November 15th. And I plan on seeing him there. So that I can't wait for that. That'll give me some closure. I can't wait to hug the guy and everything because, I work 60, 70 hours a week as it is. So for me to just go up and visit him in the high desert, it's almost impossible. And I've been running around on the weekend. So like this will be finally some closure.
Do you think for him, and I'm not sure how he's even physically doing, but would it be like a goal for him to get back in the ring and just to put closure to this all as well and show he could still, he could be Syko Stu once again?
From his close friend that I talked to that's throwing this event said that Stu's done with any ring work. And then I also know about some of the stuff that he was dealing with when I talked to his wife last and his friends. I don't think being in the ring would work ever again. I think it would be kind of cool if maybe we could reverse the roles and play it up to where maybe I get beat up in the ring and he comes out, with his music to the apron and sends people in. You know what I mean? Like I think that's as far as we could go from here. But I don't even think it would be smart at this point. That was a lot of damage he received, plus the what he was already dealing with. Uh, he wasn't necessarily a spring chicken before the event.
Well, to say that's bittersweet is a complete understatement, right? So it looks like Syko Stu, looks like the dude most likely might not be able to wrestle ever again after that situation with Raja, man. I will say this, right? Maybe it was for the best, right? Maybe it was for the best. You never know, man. God works in mysterious ways, and the best thing to say is like he lived, right? It sounds horrible, saying it like that, especially given the context, but that's the only way to actually look at this in some kind of positive light, is that he ended up living, but he was in the hospital. He could have died that day. We've been over this for how long now, right? And I will say this, I think he had a second job, so it's not like his whole entire income was based off of wrestling. God knows you can't base your entire income when having a family off of a fucking indie promotion of all damn places, right? But it seems like Syko Stu's wrestling career has come to an end. And the sad part about it is, too? The sad part about it is that I don't think any legitimate restitution is going to be given to this man. At least not to the degree as to what you think it might be, because he has his base income. Now, restitution as to the damages done to him and maybe even his hospital bill, yeah. But as far as, damages based off of him recuperating his funds from whatever job he was working, he wasn't injured on the job. He was injured at wrestling, a wrestling promotion that he probably didn't make any money at for the most part. I'm pretty sure he made a few bucks, but nothing that was, extraordinary, as obviously it's an indie fucking promotion, for God's sakes, right? This was a side hustle for him. More even, in fact, a hobby. So if anybody's actually out there thinking that, Roger Jackson's gonna probably pay some substantial fine to a Syko Stu, I'm not sure about that. Now, again, if there are some lawyers in the audience, they can correct me, but if you have a base income salary that's separate from your other job and you got hurt at this job right here and it's not even really technically considered a job, I mean, again, the restitution would just be to the hospital, right? Again, someone can correct me if I'm mistaken, but like putting that to the side though, man, that sucks. That sucks, right? But Roger Jackson, just to kind of give a little bit of update on this piece of shit, he did leave the courthouse, I believe yesterday or the day before. This is where I got the video. I think I downloaded the video yesterday of him leaving the courthouse with a reporter trying to get some answers from what happened or what's the update on this whole entire situation. So here, check this video out real quick.
How do you feel about heading into court today? I know a lot of fans want to know what's running through your mind. I know, especially because you're facing, some charges right now. Do you feel remorseful about what happened? Do you have anything to say to your fans? Thank you, Raja.
I know people are going to probably look at this and be like, look at this piece of shit, acting all stoic. He's quiet. He's not going to answer for the shit that he's done. Hey, man, in the end of the day, no matter how we feel about Roger Jackson, no matter how we feel about the situation, that's the smart thing to do, right? Right? I mean, we're now talking about legal proceedings here, and I will say that, not that I'm defending Roger Jackson, no, not under any circumstances, but that's a smart thing to do. I've seen a lot of comments, talking about, oh, you were talking all that shit on your stream, but now all of a sudden you're quiet. Yeah, I expect him to be quiet and not say anything. What really can you say? What really can you do, right? Caught in 4K. There's nothing you can do. There's nothing you can say. All you can really do is hush your mouth and let your lawyers talk in the end of the day. Can't really fault them for that. But this was apparently breaking from ACD MMA. They said, Roger Jackson pleads not guilty on all charges related to assaulting pro wrestler Syko Stu. Let me reiterate that one more time for the idiots in the audience. He pled not guilty. He pled. Not that that was a verdict. He pled not guilty on all charges. He is due back in court November 24th. He potentially faces 7 years in prison if convicted. He was not charged with attempted murder. Again, I don't know why everybody keeps hoping for the best as far as the situation. He's not going to get 7 years in prison. He's not going to face any time in prison. He's not going to face any time at all. Like, again, you guys are wishfully thinking. I'm not saying anything about the people who broke this, ACDMA. But I would just like to see, at least to my audience, have a little bit of logic, have a little bit of common sense, and understand that this is going to get swept under the rug. No one is going to face consequences. No one is going to pay for anything. Now, I'm pretty sure a court's going to order him to pay for damages. But like I said, I'm almost certain the damages is going to go directly to his hospital. And I'm almost certain that damages might go to Syko Stu as well. But I'm pretty sure whatever those damages are, people are going to look at as being unjust. But I'm telling you, I'm almost certain they're going to stem that strictly off of his wrestling, right? The only thing I could think of is if he actually misses time at his real job and he has to 9 times out of 10 pay for those damages as well. But I mean, how much time is he going to miss off of his job while at the same time, maybe potentially, I don't know, living off of the money that he made from GoFundMe? Is that the case? Because he's going to have to work. I mean, unless he's going to go on government benefits or something like that. I don't know. I just don't see him paying some substantial fine. I would be shocked. I would actually be fucking shocked if he paid anything lower than $10,000. I'm going to call it. I think he's going to pay something lower than $10,000 in damages overall. And that's just it. I think he's going to get heavy probation time. I think he's going to pay something under $10,000. People are going to, rightfully so, call this unjust because it is. And then people are going to forget about it in a week. And this is going to get swept under the rug as wrestling lore that people are going to look back on in about 20 years and, bring it up and talk about how this was a travesty. But that's pretty much it. I know that sucks to hear, but hey, welcome to America, right? America. Welcome to California. But let me know your thoughts down in the comment section below as to how you felt about today's topics. How do you feel about Roger Jackson potentially, most likely, let's just be honest with ourselves, getting away with damn near murdering a guy? That's call it what it. They don't want to call it like that, but the streets can call it for what it is. Murdering someone, damn near attempting to murder someone. Actually, it was attempted murder. How do you feel about this supposed Wargames team that has been announced by Dave Meltzer of all fucking people? Are you guys siding with AEW or NXT in regards to this whole situation? In regards to the ratings war? In regards to regarding? And how do you feel about Kylie Rae apparently getting the short end of the stick by being exploited by the WWE shadows? Let me know your thoughts down in the comment section below. Don't forget, one more time reminding, I will not be reviewing Crown Jewel tomorrow. Again, I'll be at work, unfortunately. But if anything were to actually break from the show, I'll go out of my way and I'll talk about it probably on Sunday. But with that being said, as always, my name is Millennial Smark, and I'll be catching you fine folks later. A deuces and a P. Ice.